Good morning, Yankees Nation. This is Ken, and you're here with the ugly truth. Today, we're going to do a little bit of talking about this Yankees and Padres series, a review of the events of this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And as usual, I'm going to follow up with a live panel. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link, and I'm going to give a shout out to the folks that I see that are actually here at this point: CT Cards, Jonathan, FJ, and Real Bill. Thank you for supporting the stream and the channel. I appreciate everyone being here and contributing. Real Bill, you are not banned on this or blocked on this channel, so glad to see you. As you know, the Yankees had a rough weekend, taking a series loss to Tampa, a series that we should have won, especially in our house. But pitching wasn't there, and our heads were down coming into this series with the Padres. Padres are one of the top teams in the AL West in baseball. They were on a 5-game winning streak, and they had some really super numbers with run differential. Their rotation is one of the tops in baseball, and they're not suffering a ton of injuries in that rotation like the Yankees have this season. So we came into the series very cautious. Some doubting the virility of this team to actually stand up to a top flight contender. Our record against teams over a 500 win percentage hasn't been very good. Coming into the series, we were 7-8, and we had lost series to almost every last year postseason contender and teams that were looking pretty strong this season. So that being said, we went into game one. We had Carlos Rodon on the bump for us, top flight pitcher this season for us. He's I believe pitching up to the form that the Yankees thought they were going to get when they signed him as a free agent 3 years ago. Game one was one that I was very surprised actually got played. The weather conditions were extremely bad. Hey, Sean, glad to see you, brother. Thanks for joining the stream. The conditions were bad. I didn't think that the game should have even been played. But with the situation as it was, you're looking at San Diego, who won't be back to our venue. If we would have ran the game out, the only day that we could have mustered another game would have been today, our day off and our travel day. We start the first West Coast run of the month of April for us. I'd rather have us rested going on the road, especially to face a tough athletics team who's playing much better than anyone would have thought. I mean, essentially they are sitting with the same record as our Yankees. So hence needing all the rest that we possibly could have. In game one, the Padres ended up taking the game 4-3. Ryan Burgett was the winning pitcher, and Luke Weaver was the losing pitcher. Carlos Rodon was our starter, and he did a fantastic job, especially considering the weather conditions. And he actually experienced about a 45-minute rain delay. So he came back out to pitch after that, and that was one of my big fears with the weather is that we would get 3 or 4 innings in, and then we'd end up losing Rodon and having to go a long way with the bullpen. All right, I see that my brother Sean is here, so I'm going to bring him up. Hey, Sean, how's it going?
It's going all right, other than the sinus cold, but it's all right.
It happens to the best of us, brother. All right. What we saw out of Carlos in Game 1, he went 6 2/3 innings, much more than I thought we were going to get out of him. He only gave up 3 hits and 1 walk. He did not give up an earned run, and he had 5 strikeouts. He lowered his ERA to a 2.96. Fantastic. I see that John the Beagle Dad has hopped in. Welcome, brother.
Yeah. No, Rodon pitched to Jim Game 1. He didn't cost us a game, didn't make a mistake. He was pitching lights out, and had not the rain delay happened in the bottom of the 4th inning with 2 outs, I mean, he was cruising for 9, 10 strikeouts. I mean, he already had like 5 or 6 at that time. But then, that 27-minute rain delay, it has an effect on pitchers when you cool down and then you got to heat back up.
Yeah. I think that he bounced back.
Yeah, he bounced back, got us through the 6. But then the bullpen, none of the arms that we threw out there after him had good stuff.
I mean, a lot of people are going to say this is an excuse. Oh, you're making excuses. It was a rainy, humid, crappy day. Fernando Cruz, who has been lights out for us, he pitched 1/3 of an inning. He didn't give up a hit. He didn't give up a walk. He didn't give up any earned runs. He didn't have a strikeout. When he came in, there was a runner at third base, and he threw a wild pitch. Did not have control of his stuff, and the runner tried to take home on the wild pitch, but the ball didn't kick far enough away from Wells, and was able to record the 3rd out. There are a lot of people that are questioning that Cruz should have come out in the next inning as opposed to bringing Devin Williams in. I don't think that we would have had any different a result because Cruz didn't have his stuff. He just was not locating. Right. And like I said, I think the weather had something to do with it. Well, we followed up with Devin Williams coming in, for 2/3 of an inning, and it was a horrible inning for him. He ended up giving up a hit. He walked 2 batters, ended up tallying 3 earned runs when it was all said and done, and he did have 2 strikeouts. When he left, there were 2 outs, and the bases were loaded.
Right.
Then Luke Weaver. Go ahead.
No, like you said, he's the one that loaded the bases. He walked a couple guys, but yeah, like you said, the weather did impact the control of pitches, and the command was off. And then, like you said, with Weaver, he came in, he threw 2 meatballs that got hit.
Well, the one hit that Cruz did give up was a broken bat bloop. So I mean, he did what he was planning on doing. It just didn't work out. And then Weaver came in. He pitched 1/3 of an inning. He gave up 2 hits, base on balls, ended up giving up an earned run. He didn't strike anybody. So all the inherited runners that he had, every one of them scored, plus his own runner. So he was not the Luke Weaver that the Yankees have grown accustomed to seeing, and I'm going to touch more on that for
Right.
for following.
But I mean, you can't expect him to be a 0 ERA all season long, or 0.0 ERA. You know, every outing is a scoreless inning or two. No, I mean he's a good guy, and Williams has got good stuff, but you know, people blow games. Hitters. I mean, because you look at it too. The Padres rallied after Tatis gave himself up, getting ejected by saying something to the ump, walking up close to the ump and saying something, whatever he said.
It was not
And it tells you a
particularly
lot
a
of people.
great. It was not a great series for Fernando Tatis. That's for damn sure.
No.
Hill came out and Hill pitched a clean frame for us. The Yankees, they started out strong in the game. We were actually up 3-0.
We just,
And
like I said, the bullpen. None of the bullpen arms. I mean, Tim Hill did have a clean frame, but none of the arms had particularly great stuff out of the bullpen that game. And unfortunately, they scored more runs than what we had the lead at, and we didn't answer back. You know, we got shut out by their electric arms coming out of the pen.
we started out strong, taking that 3-0 lead.
Right.
Trent Grishbaum gave us a 2-run homer to start the scoring parade out, and later in the game, hey Stephen B, thank you for joining the stream, brother. Appreciate you being here. And our third run scored on a sac fly by Anthony Volpe. Morning, Lou. Glad to see you here. So, there was a bit of situational hitting there. When he swung to put the ball up in the air to bring the run in. So Volpe did a good job. All total, though, for the evening, the Yankee hitters only had 6 hits. We had we had 4 base on balls. Yankees only scored 3 runs. As a team, we struck out 9 times, which is about average for what we've been doing. We left 5 runners on base, and we went 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. The thing that aggravated me more so than the pitching of the bullpen was the lack of fight that the team had with its 2 innings worth of at-bats. Didn't seem like they really gave a shit and wanted to get out of the rain. And hence, 6 up, 6 down. No fight whatsoever. And that seemed to be the trend that we were looking at, especially after the post Jays and Rays series. Same type of lack of fight, lack of effort. So, for me personally, I was questioning the team that we were. I dropped one of my live streams, Do the Numbers Lie? And it seems that, when we go out, we will beat a team senseless. But in the close games, we can't seem to push through. So, my opinion was that the numbers looked more inflated than they actually were because of monumentous players like Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge's numbers are off the chart. Paul Goldschmidt has come in, and he has done a fantastic job also. His numbers are similar to what he had in 2023 when he went through his MVP season. So there was a lack of productivity for most of the lineup, which was very reflective of the 2024 Yankees that lost the World Series. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're looking at – I was looking at the stats the other day, and Judge and Goldschmidt lead the league in batting average, and it's like by far. Like you got Judge was at like 415, 430, whatever, 420 something. Um, and then Goldschmidt was like 357, and and then the next guy's like low 300s, you know, and you're like, but it just tells you though that it's like you got these guys were both MVPs in 2022 when Judge hit 62 and flirted with the Triple Crown, and you know, and they're just and then the team, yeah, like you said, some games we're hitting where we lead the league with 62 bombs as a team, and but then we'll score 12 runs one game and then barely score 4 in the next.
That takes me to game 2.
Right.
Game 2 was a huge Yankee win. Us taking the Padres out 12-3. Clark Schmidt, or the winner of the game was Fernando Cruz. The loser was Morjon. Clark Schmidt actually came out and pitched decent.
Yeah.
He gave us 6 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 1 base on balls, 2 earned runs. He had 4 strikeouts. After that performance, you know, looking at it, that was Clark Schmidt's first quality start of this season. The second thing that I looked at was, all right, Real Bill, thanks. I appreciate you hopping in the stream. Take care, and as always, let's go Yankees. For game 2, Smith had his first quality start of the season, and the question that came to mind is Clark Schmidt actually turning the corner? This was the best outing that he's had since coming back to the team from the IL, and you know, it was his best outing, and it gave us the opportunity to win. And he picked up the team after that devastating loss in game 1.
Right.
Tim Hill came in relief. He only pitched a third of an inning. He gave up a hit or 2 hits, an earned run, and it just wasn't really a great outing for him.
No.
Fernando Cruz came in. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, a walk, and he recorded a strikeout, no earned runs. Tyler Matzik came in. He pitched 1 inning, got 1 strikeout, pitched a clean frame, and Yuri Del Santos closed out the game for us, and he pitched a clean frame for the 1 inning that he was in. Yankee bats came alive. We ended up with 10 hits on the night, 5 walks. We scored 12 runs, and the thing that was more impressive to me was that the Yankees only struck out 2 times in that game.
Right.
We're averaging 9+ strikeouts a game, which, in my opinion, has been at key times when we had runners on scoring position with less than 2 outs, and us not being able to push across a single damn run with a guy standing at third. Strikeouts and pop-outs have been the dominant factor in our inability to score. For that night, Judge hit a home run in judging fashion, and Austin Wells actually hit his career first grand slam in the 7th to pretty much put that game out of touch. The things that I thought were impressive is that the team was able to answer back. Every time the Padres scored, we came up, and that 10-run seventh, you saw patient at-bats, taking what the pitcher was given, taking walks, and not swinging for the fence. And the situational hitting was off the charts.
Oh yeah.
We ended
I
up
mean,
only leaving 2 runners on base, and we were 6 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Those are numbers that are freaking not atypical Yankee type.
no.
Uh,
I mean, you look at how that inning started. You had Jason Dominguez, a double from the right side, I believe, or he either left from right. But so he got a double, a hustle double, and then Cabrera came up, got him in with a single, and then so we scored the tying run with 0 outs, but then we just kept moving it along, and it was like all the young guys with the veterans just kept it on. I mean, you look at this. I think there was a time with Wells, he scored, or no, he knocked in Dominguez, but yeah, I mean Dominguez, Bope, Wells, and then you looked at it, Wells and when Goldschmidt was pinch hitting, Wells and or Bope and Wells double steal second and third, and as soon as that happened, Goldschmidt was walked when he already had a 3-0 count. And then, Ben Rice did what he did. And then they walked Judge intentionally because they didn't want to face him. But then, the other young guy got, and it was just everybody contributed. And especially after the 2 intentional walks, I like that we made them pay.
Hey, Dev, glad to see you jumping in the stream, brother.
I mean, or I'm sorry, Cabrera. The only thing I didn't like the 7th inning was Cabrera's pop butt, but he redeemed himself the next game.
For me, we started the season off just decimating the Brewers. Home runs, hits, good, at least acceptable pitching for a first series. That game 2, hey Jason, thanks for hopping in. The game 2, when I sat back and thought about it, that game showed what the Yankees are capable of being. The team that we put together after we lost Juan Soto, getting key players to shore up our defense, key players to hit against left-handed pitching. And honestly, this series, I feel, was a master class for these young kids that we've got that wear the pinstripes but don't really understand what it is to be a Yankee, what it is to never say die and fight through adversity. That game was an eye-opener, for young kids like Wells and Dominguez. Cabrera's been here for a while, so he's seen it.
Yeah. But
even Cruz. So hence, these guys showed some guts and courage in game 2, especially, like I said, after that brutal loss that we took in game 1. Hey Ray, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you being here. Game 3. Oh my God. I was bowling last night, but I had the game on my cell phone and I had earbuds in, and I was listening to the game. I was losing my shit when bowling. As the Yankees were screwing the pooch, I was screwing up on the alley. And one of my teammates said, "Hey man, maybe you better just take the earbuds out and stop listening to the game. I was like, fuck that. I'm a Yankee fan. Come hell or high water, I'm not walking away. And things got better. But I'm telling you, hats off to Dylan Cease.
Oh
He
yeah,
has not had a good opening for the 2025 season, but the guy was masterful. He no
oh
hit
no,
our team for 5 freaking innings. I mean,
yeah. Oh,
had
unfortunately, I
a
think.
little bit of defensive help, but he was freaking outstanding. And
Yeah, I mean, when you have a no hitter going through 6 innings, because it was in the seventh when Bellinger hit the bomb into the second deck and right field.
you know
So,
the funny thing about the Bellinger home run is I looked at
but
that hit 3 or 4 times. He freaking tomahawked the ball. That ball wasn't even in the damn
uh-huh,
strike zone. And
yeah,
he made solid contact with it, and it just went. And
it was also funny too that because Paul O'Neill was talking about Cease's high fastball, and then what was it? A ball up in the zone that got tomahawked by Bellinger as soon as Paul O'Neill said high fastball.
and you know, from our perspective, Max Fried stayed step for step uh, with Cease with regard to the runs. I mean, he threw one mistake pitch that Jackson Merrill pummeled into the bullpen, but he went 7 innings. He gave up 5 hits to that very potent lineup. Uh, he didn't walk anybody. Uh,
Nope.
Gave up 1 earned run, and he had 8 Ks on the night. His ERA did go up a tick from 1.01 to 1.05, but
Yeah,
what are you going to say?
but I mean, you made one mistake. The hitter hit it. Who I mean, Jackson Merrill. He had a great rookie season. You know, it wasn't really a fluke. It was just he's a good player.
No, Merrill is he was runner up to Paul Skeens for the Rookie of the Year in the NL. Uh, the Padres did a smart thing by signing him to a long-term contract. They have him for like 10 years and on a very
Right.
cheap contract. And I'd seen Merrill last season watching some of the Diamondback games with my son, and he is very impressive, especially for a rookie. His plate approach, uh, the way he attacks the ball, and his defense. The Padres got themselves a really, really good player for a long time on a cheap contract. Uh, Back to our pitching. Ian Hamilton came in. He only mustered uh, a third of an inning. He gave up 2 runs, walked 2 people, and Booney was quick on the hook, which hats off to Boone. He didn't let him sit there and try to work the damn thing out and screw us. He ended up bringing Luke Weaver in to pitch 1 2/3 innings. Weaver gave up a hit, which resulted in the runs being scored from Hamilton. So over the last 2 outings that Weaver's had, he has not been locked down as he has been. He's been giving up the hits, especially
Right.
with runners in scoring position. Is that because Boone is bringing him in the middle of an inning, and he hasn't gotten warmed up? I don't know. Maybe we should consider bringing Luke in to start an inning as opposed to the middle of it. The other
Right.
thing that I could think is starting pitching is starting to show its effects on the bullpen because our bullpen, game one could be weather, could be exhaustion. We gave up the ghost there. Uh, Game two, bullpen gave up a few runs, but we were able to power through that damn thing. Game three,
Yep.
the bullpen gave up another couple of runs, and I'm thinking that we need to start getting more length out of our rotation because these guys are getting tired. Especially we're
Yeah.
going on a long road trip. You keep hearing that we have reinforcements on the way. They're on the way, but they're not here. And we're starting
Right.
a 6-game West Coast leg, and we're facing up against the Athletics, who have the same record as us. I think one more loss than we have, maybe two, but they have turned their franchise around, especially after leaving Oakland. Doesn't seem that they signed some folks, and it doesn't seem that they're going to sell everybody at the deadline like they have in the past. And from our experience against the A's last year, the back end of their bullpen is no joke.
No. And I mean, a lot of their guys are young guys from their AAA farm that came up either the year before or last year, and they're playing in a AAA ballpark right now. I guess they got no city affiliation; they're just called the Athletics. But my thing is that I'll tip my hat to this because I know as much as criticism as we give Boone for mismanagement and different other things, he managed that game yesterday, top to bottom. I mean, he pushed the right buttons. We were scratching our head about the whole Weaver and Williams thing, but both of those worked out. Like you said, he was quick to pull Hamilton when Hamilton didn't have it, but then he pushed the right buttons on a bench. He pinch hit for, brought in Trent Grisham when Cabrera walked in, pinch hit him for Vivas. What did he do? Hit a 2-run bomb almost to the same spot Bellinger hit his bomb. So we tied the game.
So,
go ahead.
Good.
And I was saying, and then you look in the extra innings. Williams executed perfectly, but then we on the bottom half of the 10th frame, we got Dominguez on second, and then I believe that bunt was called from the dugout, not that Cabrera did it on his own, but then again he could have. But he executed it perfectly, didn't jab at it like he did the day before. Moved Dominguez over, sacrificed himself, and then pinch hits J.C. Oscara. And then he hits a long sac fly to left field. Dominguez scores easily. Ball game.
Devin Williams, for as much shit as he has taken as a Yankee, displayed more courage than I thought imaginable in the top half of the frame. He had some serious freaking bats coming up. He had Tatis. He had Merrill.
Machado.
He had Machado, who I freaking cannot stand because that dude, every time we face him, seems to come up big.
And then you have Bogaerts.
Bogaerts, another guy who knows the Yankees very well too, and he tends to stick it to us just like Machado.
Yeah, and Williams struck out the side. Maybe not consecutively, but
he did strike out 3. He did bang Jackson Merrill with a fastball on the inside of the arm. Uh, but the love and the respect that the uh, fans showed him is something that was long overdue, as opposed
Oh
to the
yeah,
stream of boos that he's been seeing. He accomplished
right.
something that I'm not sure that Weaver could have done.
No,
And a lot of people
and I
have
could.
buyer's remorse right now about bringing Williams to the Yankees, but I think that outing shows uh, uh, the Luke we or the uh, Devin Williams that we brought to New York to be a closer for
Yeah,
us. And you know, honestly, the only reason that Williams was out there in the 10th is because the bullpen was spent. If you looked at the innings distribution charts and the amount of pitches that they had thrown, and this is only going to get worse. So we need Devin to step up to the plate and and do his thing. Uh,
oh yeah,
he seems like he's overthrowing his fastball. That's why he doesn't appear to really have control of it, and it sort of takes off on him because he's hit quite a few batters. Uh, Last night, when we look, bring up a comment from Jason Custudio. I thought Boone was going to bring in Leiter. Well, that was my fear. I thought that Leiter was headed into the game, and when I saw Williams warming up in the bullpen, uh, I was like, "Holy shit, what's going to happen here?" Are Bats going to be able to at least bring in one run? Because I figured that dude sitting at second. Uh, it was actually supposed to be Maldonado, but they pinch ran for him. I can't remember the guy's name,
right.
but he was a
Lockridge,
burner. Lockridge. So
Lockridge.
I figured that guy was going to score, and when he stole third base, I was like, "Oh shit, here it comes."
Yeah, he stole it on Williams, but Williams already had two disengagements. So if he would have thrown the ball to Volpe or whoever, and they didn't get him out, it would have been an automatic ball.
I see Joe from NY Yankee Mania has hopped in. Welcome, brother. Appreciate you being here. Uh, I mean, if you look at our numbers last night, as far as at bats and whatnot, the Yankees, in true fashion, had 10 strikeouts. Go figure. Uh, Only had 3 base on balls. We had uh, only 3 hits and scored 4 runs. Uh, so statistically, if you look at it, it just wasn't very good.
No.
As far as the at bats, and that's hence my tipping of the hat to Dylan Cease. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
we
Dylan
had
Cease
key
finally
home
had a day
runs.
against the Yankees.
We had key home runs. Bellinger in the 7th when he went deep on Cease to tie the game up. Uh, the Padres came back in the top of the 8th. They scored 2 runs. Pinch hit Grisham. Grishbaum freaking nailed an upper deck shot. And the stadium went nuts. Hell, I was going nuts, and I was driving.
Yeah, I mean, and the stadium was going nuts with the Knicks one too. So
And the resiliency of the team after being shut down essentially for 6 innings, not even touching the base, uh, was incredible. And it showed the fight that this team actually has. Possibly, this may be the match that starts the fire going for us. Would love to
I
see
mean,
us come out of this road trip uh, with with a 4-2 record. I think that would be possibly the best thing that I could imagine happening for us, taking both series from the Mariners and uh, and the Athletics. The other
Oh
thing
yeah.
that the other thing that I see uh, is more length. I see Tiffany wears CUM stains. Uh, haven't seen you before. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate the support. Uh, if I haven't said it at this point, for those who haven't, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you think you're finding value and people that you know will find value from this content, uh, please share. Uh, please share this out with anybody that you may know, your friends, your family, your dog, whoever. But you know, the long and short is the resilience that the Yankees showed in Game 2 and Game 3 were incredible.
Oh yeah. I made our first walk off of the season.
Yeah, a lot of people have been hard on our bench players, but our bench players came through. And the one thing that
Oh yeah.
shocked the crap out of me was the sacrifice bunt that Cabrera laid down. When he
Yeah.
turned square, I'm thinking, shit, he's about to pop this thing up, and
I was
be
thinking the same thing. I was like,
but
don't jab.
he didn't stab at the ball. He let the ball come to the bat, and he he performed a flawless bunt. The small ball that I talked about in my last stream when Jason from 161 River Ave was on, he he asked, "Well, what situation would you bunt?" Well, I would subscribe with a runner at second base in the bottom of the 10th inning with no outs. That might be the situation where you bunt.
Yeah.
The
Or even or if you had second and third, nobody out, or first and third, or first and second, nobody out. But like you said, the perfect one is in the 10th inning with the whole Manfred runner.
I mean, that goes back to my avid hate and dislike of the ghost runner. If you look on the season, we are very good when we're batting in the bottom half of the frame at Yankee Stadium. But when we go on the road and face the same situation, we're like 3-13 since the ghost runner got instated.
Yeah. I mean, if it was the 12th inning or later, I would understand it. Because I mean, who wants a 16 inning game, or 18 inning game? But
I'm bringing up a comment from FJ. Cabrera's bunt was textbook form. Phil Rizzuto would have been proud. I completely
oh
agree.
yeah, I can hear him saying, "Holy cow!"
The the team, like I said, showed resilience that I haven't seen uh, this season, and I look forward to see what the next chapter holds for us. Uh, we're playing in a division that is probably the worst in baseball. The teams in our division, the teams, frankly, aren't very good. They're not they're not strong pitching staffs. They're not hitting well, and let's see what we're looking at. The second place team behind us are the Red Sox, who are at 2.5 games out, and they're 19-19, even 500. You look at Tampa, Tampa 16-20. They're below 500. Toronto is also 16-20, and the Orioles, who we thought were going to be challengers for us this season, are 13-22. So the other teams in the East aren't doing well, and honestly, I don't see that the Yankees don't take the AL East and make the postseason. Where we need to get our bones at is winning series that we need to win or that we should win, and taking advantage of the weaker teams in our division when we face off against them, unlike what we did against the Rays and the Jays over the last week. Those are series that should have been won, and pitching killed us. With the DFA of Carlos Carrasco, I have the gut instinct and feeling that Yarbrough is either going to be stretched out or fill an opener spot. Ryan Yarbrough being a former starting pitcher, I can see him being able to muster at least justify dropping Carrasco because he wasn't giving us 4 innings and we were a lot behind a truckload of runs. FJ, were the 18 or 20 inning games that common to justify the ghost runner rule? The ghost runner rule wasn't initially implemented because of that. It was implemented because of the COVID shortened season. We didn't have a spring training, and the pitchers weren't stretched out. I mean, it was only a 60-game season. So what they wanted to prevent was extended games where teams would end up having no pitchers available. You'd end up putting position players out there to take the mound in the extra inning games. And my opinion, valid concern, valid countermeasure for the loss of spring training. They called it summer camp, and it was 2 weeks. When they adopted it in the 2023 season, that's my question, because there was the situations that had the rule adopted initially didn't exist anymore. And to me, fundamentally, I think it changes the shape of extra inning games. If it was so important, why are we not using it in the playoffs? Standard baseball rules apply in the postseason. I've seen, and numbers say, that the home team has the advantage in extra inning games in that scenario. So if it's not good enough for postseason, why should it be good enough for the regular season?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
And in my opinion, it does kind of cheapen the games because you got a runner on second in scoring position that's just gifted. Didn't do anything to get on base. Wasn't up. I mean, he got the last man out, so you rewarded him or taking a pitch runner off the bench, putting him on second, but you rewarded the last guy that got the out in the previous inning, in the ninth or whatever inning. And then, so then you win. It's kind of, it's not like you really earned, you know what I mean? It kind of softens a little bit.
Definitely. Long and short, the ghost runner rule, I don't feel has a place in Major League Baseball anymore. I think that the rule has outlived its usefulness, and I feel that we should get rid of it. The team is truly affected when we come, especially the Yankees, particularly uh, in in uh, in extra inning games, and they tend to cost us. Uh, do some talking, Sean. I'm doing some admin stuff real quick.
Yeah. I mean, you got different scenarios where the guy's on, but he could be scored with a single in the gap. You know, different other things. But yeah, I mean, you do got to get him in. But I understand that. But it's still kind of like Manfred is doing a lot of things to change baseball, and they're not all for the better. And some of them really don't bring new fans in. Uh, I mean, I was talking with somebody yesterday at work, and we was talking about how baseball and we were shifting between the steroid era, modern baseball, and even the old school baseball, and how different players were good, like Donnie Mattingly, and how he belongs in the Hall, Thurman Munson. But then even, we was talking about the steroid era and how some of those players that once saved baseball because Jose Canseco ratted on himself and everybody else that he linked them to roids during that era. A lot of them aren't in the Hall, and then it's like, but then the Hall of Fame's kind of making like weird induction announcements, but they won't vote in Don Mattingly, who deserves it. If his back had gone out, he probably had a bigger, stronger case. Uh, and then Thurman Munson, I mean, he died in a plane crash while still in his prime. So who knows what his numbers would have really been like. So
There's a little discussion about the pitch clock. Stephen B subscribes that the pitch clock needs to go.
yeah,
Jason Custodio, some pitchers used to take forever between pitches. I personally don't have an issue with the pitch clock because the thing that used to piss me off when watching games is when we would sit back and we would see pitchers throw over to first 7, 8 times. The guy's taking one step off the plate, and because the pitcher wants the delay, he's throwing a lollipop over to first. It's not a genuine pickoff attempt. And me being a former pitcher, there is absolutely no reason that you should take 30 seconds between pitches to get back on the bump and fire it. I mean, granted, it has affected the way some people pitch. Zach Gallen being one of the foremost that I've noticed, because he was one of those guys that used to throw over to first a lot, and he would use the time to gather himself to make a quality pitch. And he's a top caliber starter in the league.
But you know what I mean. But then look at how many top tier pitchers have gone due to injuries. With this elevated around the time this elevated pitch clock has come in, or this pitch clock. The other thing I have an issue, like I don't mind it. I've kind of got used to it, but the problem is, I think they even brought it down to lesser second, and I'm like, it was fine the way it was. Why are you, lessening the time? Because I mean, most of these pitchers are already throwing high velocity. and they're throwing triple digits. So then you're like, okay, 20 seconds in between pitches. A lot of them are going down to injuries, which is to me is concerning. And I'm not blaming it all on the pitch clock, but I mean that does contribute to the injuries.
Well, the
So
pitcher injuries is a systemic thing. It's the way that kids in little league, high school, and college are trained. These guys come out throwing max velocity always. Uh, they're required to produce a high spin rate to even be considered for a Division One school uh, or being drafted into the majors. Uh, the way that kids are conditioned is not conducive to arm health. You look at a pitcher who is probably one of the greatest of all time, Greg Maddux. If he had to subscribe to throwing plus velocity fastballs and incredible breaking stuff, he probably wouldn't even get a look. He relied on.
would Nolan Ryan? You think he would? Nolan Ryan would be one of those.
Jason Studio. This is something that I've tracked too, and I definitely agree with you. The amount of UCL tears in high school these days is crazy, and it's because kids are not being worked out properly. If you look at, they've done a study, and you look at the injuries for UCL tears, most of them happen within the first quarter of baseball and spring training. Why do you think that is?
Because you're ramping from a long cool down period. You're ramping back up.
They're not ramping up. They're coming out throwing max velocity from Jump Street.
Okay.
After having not pitched for several months. So it's the training aspect that has contributed to it more so, I subscribe, than the pitch clock. I used to hate sitting in a game, especially in the Bronx, for a 4-hour freaking game. All right.
You know, I haven't even seen Manfred go to a baseball game.
Bring up a couple of comments from Real Bill P. Every major sport has a play clock. I don't have a problem with that. 15 seconds is way too fast. Okay.
Well, yeah.
And Real Bill, second follow-up is they don't long throw, which was something that was part of my regular training regimen before. And they don't do it. And I know that also.
Right. But I mean, you know, it's just so many of them. But the other thing is, you know, I mean, you don't have a lot of pitchers these days that were workhorses like Pedro or Roger Clemens, who would get you 6, 7, 8 innings on the day.
Something that I did during the stream when I was taking my admin break is, and you have to do it during a live stream, is I added some administrators to the chat, because a lot of times you guys know what's going on in there and I can't see it. I added Real Bill P as an administrator. I added Stephen B as an admin. I added Sean Browning as an admin, and I added Jonathan. We have a fairly small community, and I think 4 is more than sufficient, because not everybody is on at the same time. Nothing against anyone else out there, but just want to run a nice channel where we don't have trolls coming in here being disrespectful to the folks that are actually gaining value from the stream. And I want to thank all of y'all that I picked to be admins for y'all's support. Just a heads up, today is an off day, and we are going to be traveling to California. So hence no game. In customary fashion, I am going to be dropping a pre-series review or preview for the A's and Yankees, or actually it's Yankees versus the A's. I'll probably do that around 1:15 tomorrow afternoon before game time, because our game time I think is 10 or so. I'm not actually positive. I'll take a look real quick. Our game time for tomorrow's set is 10:05 Eastern, and the game should be available on MLB Network and Yes. I think that between Joe from NY Yankees Mania and myself, possibly end up calling some of these West Coast games. For those of you who are interested in catching the stream, I realize there are other play-by-play guys. I'm not sure how many of them will be doing night game or the late night games, but I'm retired, so hence I have time to spare, and I usually don't go till late anyhow. So for anyone who wants to jump in and catch the game, most appreciated.
Oh yeah.
And as usual, if you haven't, please like and subscribe to this channel. Share it out with your friends, family, pets, neighbors, if you think that they'll find value in my content. Also, we are sitting, I think, at 84 subscribers. So I'd like to hit the 100 subscriber mark at sometime this century. And the other guy that I've been doing a lot of online or on air time with is Joe from NY Yankees Mania. So if you haven't checked that channel out, I recommend it highly. Go check out the things that Joe's doing. And if you like hearing a little bit of ranting, he is definitely your guy. However, he just hit his 100 subscriber mark, and he's doing well. So give a consideration for subscribing to his channel too. We've hit the hour mark for this stream, and that's usually when I cut things off. So I'm going to give Sean the opportunity to say his last bid, and I'll take it, and then we'll close the stream from there.
Well, like Kid said, there's so many great Yankee content creators out there. Kid's one of them. Joe's another. Jason from 161. The list goes on. But we're a great family. Come and be a part of it. If you were just checking us out or you're new to it, come along. We're welcome. Just be civil and respectful with one another. We'll take your opinions. We have real talk here. We're real fans. So yeah, and let's go Yankees.
All right. I want to thank everyone that came into the stream. I want to thank Sean for coming up and co-hosting with me. I love Yankees baseball, and I'm a huge Yankees fan. And I if I could talk baseball 24/7, I probably would do it. My wife claims that she is a baseball widow when the Yankees start playing, because I watch probably 155 plus games a season during the regular season. So with that being said, I'm going to end with my customary "Let's go Yankees," and thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you in the funny papers. Talk to y'all later.